right, guys, welcome back to the Central Florida High School Scoreboard Show right here on Varsity Sports Nation, the #1 high school sports channel across the state of Florida. I'm Dan LaForest. That's AJ Brooks and Baylin Trujillo. Guys, we saw one heck of an SSAA state championship series, plus the first round of the FHSAA high school playoffs. I know you guys were at some games. AJ, I'm going to start with you. What was the thing that really kind of got your attention? What was the one game that kind of got your attention this week?
I would have to say that's a good question. I would have to say Bishop Moore. I know that sounds crazy, but I would have to say Bishop Moore winning in convincing fashion. I like the Bishop Moore win a lot. It was very convincing.
Baylin, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the game that I was at, I didn't expect. I mean, obviously, we would have all chosen Lake Mary to win the football game, but I didn't expect it to be that lopsided. But I'm going to go in that same bracket. I think the Flagler Palm Coast and Spruce Creek game, that was crazy. I mean, Flagler Palm Coast was up 2 scores pretty much all 3 quarters, and then Spruce Creek went on a crazy comeback in the 4th quarter and won by a single point. So I think what a great game to be at. I believe there's a sophomore quarterback there now that took over for Spruce Creek. I believe he accounted for 3 touchdowns. But, I mean, again, Flagler Palm Coast, one of the most explosive offenses that we've seen statistically. Their quarterback, Hayden Hayes, was lighting it up. Again, controlled the game. I believe they're up at 28-10 at one point. And then, like I said, they lost. I believe it was 35-30 or something crazy, 45-44 or overtime or something like that. But, yeah, Spruce Creek, I think that would have been an exciting game. I didn't think it'd be that close. I honestly thought Spruce Creek would have won, but Flagler seemed to be in control, and I thought the game was over. And then when Lake Mary won the game, they were trying to check to see who they were going to play, and people were saying that they came back and lost. So like that was pretty shocking for me. But yeah, Lake Mary in the dominating fashion, that was pretty impressive.
I'll tell you what, I didn't get a chance to go out this Friday night. I'm going to miss this weekend. I've got to fly out of town this weekend, but I'm going to say OCP.
Oh, yeah.
Upsetting Melbourne Central. We talked about it's tough to beat a team twice, right? And the great thing about playoffs is everybody's 0-0 going into the postseason, and you never know what you're going to get. And there's so many different things that fall into that. But we're going to review, guys, we're going to get right into the SSAA state championship games, and then we're going to get right into the drive for 305 for the destination Pitbull Stadium down in Miami for the state championship. So let's get right into it. And we're going to start, let's start with Masters Academy winning their 2nd straight SSAA state championship, 49-42. What a game. What a shutout. It was a shootout, not a shutout, a shootout. AJ, pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was 28-28 at halftime. So like you say a shootout, it was a shootout. You talk about 56 points scored in the first half. But TF Masters Academy, they found a way to pull it off. Jackson Sketcher had a great game. He showed his athleticism on the ground and through the air. The ground game was working for Masters, and it was a good win. They gave up some points, obviously, but when it mattered, the defense stepped up. They got the stop towards the end of the game. So yeah, congratulations to them. That's back-to-back state championships.
Back-to-back. Baylin, Coach Garrett Kruzik, 2nd year as a head coach, 2 state championships under his belt.
Yeah, I mean, you better be thankful Jackson Stecker walked into your program when you took over, because he is the reason why they won 2 state titles. He led them last year as an 8th grader in the entire playoffs. Like, mind you, he was not the starting quarterback the first 10 games of the year. Then they go into the playoffs, they make a quarterback change, and Jackson completely takes over and wins the state championship with Nazir McMillan, who was the one that led him to that spot. They made a change after a little injury, and Jackson just, lit it up from that point on. And so, again, he won state as an 8th grader, decides to come back his 9th grade year, and then unbelievable season, 39 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The state championship counted for 6 touchdowns. I mean, they put the ball in his hands. He's the reason why they won this football game. And AJ alluded to the run game. He had 130 yards rushing in this game, on top of 250 passing, with 4 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns. I mean, they couldn't stop him. He was literally by himself as a freshman quarterback on a big stage. And NSU's quarterback was actually pretty good too. If you actually watch the game like I did, watching him, he had a really good game. Made some really big plays down the stretch. But man, I mean, it's just no matter what they did, Masters had an answer for it. I think we overlook some of the talent at Masters. They have this Devon kid, I believe, at receiver, electrifying. Yeah. He took a screen pass to the crib, and it looked like Devin Hester taking a pass. And then you have O'Shea, special talent there, but they didn't really have to rely on him. It was the Jackson Stecker show. He lit it up for 6 touchdowns, game MVP, Masters back-to-back state titles. I love it because I trained the kid. And as long as Garrett's there with his dad and a quarterback established there, I don't think that they're ever going to lose in the SSAC. I just don't see it happening. Dan?
Yeah, I think it's pretty impressive to be able to put all that together in a short period of time and be at championship quality. I mean, it's pretty amazing. All right, let's move on. How about Legacy Charter? 12-8 over Cedar Creek. Coach Fox and the Owls take home their 1A state championship. AJ.
Yeah, congratulations, Legacy Charter. 12-8 must have been a good game. Yeah, congratulations to him, you know. So yeah.
Baylin.
Oh, you want my take? Sorry about that. No, I mean, shoot, if I was a 4-6 football team and I was competing for a ring, I would be ecstatic right now. I would have a parade go through the city. I would have a photo shoot with the team afterwards. I would put it all in knowing I was 4 wins this year and I still won a state championship. I'm telling you, man, I don't know. Hey, I don't even want – congratulations, Legacy Charter. They're doing what they're supposed to. They won the game. They could have lost and it would have been a laughing stock. They won. They're state champions. Congratulations. And they did what they had to do. But, man, if you could tell me I can win 5 games in a state title, my son's probably going to play for you.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and I agree. I think they'll shut down a Coe and run that parade right down the middle of it. All right, let's go in. We got the Atlantic State Championship. The Space Coast Vipers conclude their season at 9-3. Big win over Bell, 21-14. AJ.
Yeah, that's a big win for Space Coast, man. 9-3. They had a real good season, and they capped it off with a championship. So you can't ask for nothing more than that. So yeah, congrats to Space Coast. I mean, I personally, I didn't think they would, you know, have this much success this year. But yeah, congrats to them.
Yeah, and Baylin, you know, we saw the Vipers and Coach Owens here at Media Day in the summer, and you know, he was so proud of what he believed they were going to be, and they took care of business and finished it strong.
Yeah, I mean, I think AJ said it right. I mean, look at their records now. This is more respectable. They had a really good season. We followed them. They were winning games that they probably weren't supposed to in good fashion, and they deserve this championship. This is a well-earned championship for a good football team. So nothing to take away from Space Coast. I don't think none of us would have predicted this, even in that classification, in that conference. But, yeah, that's a great job for them. They deserve the title, and I know that this can build momentum into hopefully the future when they start to move up and play bigger competition. So great job to Space Coast.
All right, guys, we're going to get right into the FHSA bracket, starting with 1A. Now, we're going to blow through the out-of-area brackets, the teams, the games. That kind of sets up toward the state championship. But we're going to start with Providence beating Trinity Catholic. I didn't put scores in. I didn't have time to reach the whole state of Florida, but I also want to give a shout out to the head coach at Trinity Catholic, John Brantley, who has resigned after a number of years being the head coach there, guys. You know, it's amazing when you've got a coach that's influenced the game of football in the state of Florida as long as he has. Former Gator quarterback, has done an amazing job. University Christian out of Jacksonville takes their game over Impact Christian. That sets up Providence and University Christian for this week. Trinity Christian and Jacksonville, actually, I don't know, again, why that's – that was University Christian. This is Trinity Christian out of Jacksonville. They actually got a forfeit from PK Young. They advanced. And then Maclay beat St. John Paul out of Tallahassee. That sets up that matchup. Let's get right into Region 2. Clearwater Catholic. Guys, we're going to talk about this. Now, one thing I got to point out, we got a lot of fan mail last week. They were very disappointed that AJ and Baylin are not going to do predictions through the playoffs. So AJ and Baylin have decided that they're going to continue their predictions through the playoffs. And we're going to start right here. Clearwater Catholic takes out Holy Trinity 64-16, AJ.
Yeah, Clearwater Catholic, CCC, clear favorite in my opinion. So I wasn't surprised by this.
Baylin, would you agree with that?
Dan, you forget about me down here, man. I think you're just like waiting for me to say something. I'm waiting for you to give it to me. But pause.
Pause, yes. Whoa.
I just said Baylin. I just said Baylin.
I don't know if there's a double here, but yeah, no.
I think we got a bad connection. It's making it tough. So
yeah, CCC though, I don't think there's even a debate here. They're going to advance. They're going to go to the regional final. So, yep, CCC all the way.
So we picking
no
now?
doubt about it. I think CCC's got it, but Carrollwood Day has a solid team. No, we'll get into the Central Florida team. So let's move on. Lakeland Christian takes out Crescent City. And we talked about this earlier. Orlando Christian Prep beats Melbourne Central Catholic 35-34. They move on, which sets up Lakeland Christian hosting OCP this Friday night.
Yeah. If we were doing predictions, I would have had an L last week. I would have picked Melbourne Central Catholic. But OCP, they are not a stranger. I mean, that's a championship pedigree program. So, I mean, it's somewhat surprising, but it's not surprising when you talk about the success that they have had. I do think that the buck will stop this week. I think Lakeland Christian is too legit. So I guess we pick this matchup here. Dan?
Yeah, are we?
Yeah,
doing,
we're dragging here. You guys got me, Baylin.
Yeah, no, I think. Well, I don't know.
Lakeland Christian, OCP.
Yeah, so I got Lakeland Christian.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with AJ there with the predictions from if we would have done it last week. There's no way I would have ever. I'm gonna be honest. Picked OCP to beat Melbourne Central Catholic. Brogan McNabb is a special talent. I thought, being a district champion and all that with the hype, I thought that would be a clear cut. But no, OCP came to play, put up 35 points on him. So I believe there's a blocked extra point. So OCP is now represented in the semifinals. But I am taking Lakeland Christian to end the train of OCP.
All right, let's move right into Region 3. And again, we don't have a Central Florida team. So Cardinal Newman beats Evangelical Christian. They move on, sets up a match with Community School, which beat St. John Newman's out of Naples. First Baptist in Naples, who's the number 2 seat, actually beats Southwest Florida Christian. They move on and play Benjamin out of Palm Beach, who knocks off Northside Christian out of St. Pete. So that's the bracket for Region 3. Going into Region 4, Shamana Madonna, probably the favorite in this bracket, no doubt, with the number 1 seed, takes out St. John Paul. St. Andrews beats Archbishop Carroll. They match up with Shamana Madonna this Friday. True North beats Palmer Trinity. They move on. Miami Edison and Coach Luther Campbell, and they take out Somerset Academy. They play True North this Friday. So that's your 1A. We don't have really a whole lot of teams in our bracket here. Moving on to Region 2, 1A. Gadsden County beats Baldwin. They move on. Effingham County and FI this Friday night. Pensacola Catholic goes down to Walton. Walton, the 7 seed, knocks off the number 2 seed in Pensacola Catholic. And they will play Bowles, who takes out Taylor County to set up that bracket. Heading into Region 2, Cocoa takes out Lake Placid, guys, 63-0, AJ.
don't make no sense. Be beating people that bad in the playoffs. That's a terrific ball club, bro. That's just crazy. 63-0 in the playoffs. I don't even know what to say about that. That's just a good ball club. I see that obviously Brady and Boggs had a connection the next day. I see Michigan had some coaches there at the game, head coach and the OC, I think, were there. Boggs gets the Michigan offer the next day, so he must have impressed them enough. But yeah, I see Coco just high stepping through this bracket here, man. It's ridiculous.
Well, keep in mind now, guys, and I think that's going to be very interesting. But moving on.
Whoa! I don't
keep it.
Baylin, please, Baylin.
I'm telling you, even without the lag or the lag,
Baylin.
Coco here. What a great performance in front of Coach Cerrone and also Coach Kirk Campbell, the OC and quarterback coach at Michigan and the head coach at Michigan. We're there to see Brady Hart and company. This is a great game to go to because, boy, they're probably looking at them two like they're untouchable, they're unstoppable. And there was nothing about Lake Placid that possesses a threat to Coco at all. So you talk about a stat game, great game to go to, guys, because, boy, they lit it up, and Javon Boggs got the offer, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a flip here soon to Michigan for Javon Boggs. He's going to their game this weekend. Yeah, it's pretty much bows on it, right? Berkeley Prep. Now, here's a cool part about this game, guys. This is the 2M versus the 2S state champion from last year in the semifinals in this region. I think that's a pretty cool thing. These were both state champions in 2S and 2M. So we had two Class 2A or two champions here going head-to-head in the second round. I don't think this is going to be close. I think it's going to be maybe 55-0, Coco. So,
ooh.
Yeah.
You doing scores too? That's
no. Chill. I'm just calling a straight mollywop. That's what I'm doing. It's 50 burger. It's this guy. Come on, do scores too. That'd be
all right. And so Florida this week.
Dan, you're breaking up pretty bad, man.
Yeah, man.
I think we all are. Yeah.
Oh, we're clear.
AJ, Coco, and Berkeley Prep.
Let's say all of us. Yeah, all of us.
Yeah, we're clear, man. We're clear on what we are. There ain't no.
All right, so Bradford takes care of the Villages. Takes care of the Villages. They move on. Newberry takes out Palatka, so it sets up Bradford and Newberry in that region too. Moving on, Cardinal Mooney out of Sarasota, playing really good football right now, takes out Somerset Canyon. They move on, and they're going to play Kings Academy that beat Calvary Christian in the first round. That sets that game up. Bishop Verot takes out Tarpon Springs. That sets up a matchup with Lakewood, the 5 seed, beating Glade Central. Moving on. Region 4, Booker T. Washington, the number 1 seed, takes out North Miami Beach. It sets up a game with Cardinal Gibbons, who takes care of Miami Carroll City. Matt beats Ransom. Ever going to take on that game this weekend. All right, 3A, Region 1. Jacksonville Reigns beats Bay. That was expected. Reigns is playing some great football right now. They will play Wakula, who beat Menendez this Friday night. Godby out of Tallahassee wins. Their big win over Sewanee. Will take on Bishop Kenny, who beat Baker County. Baker County's always had a great program, too. That sets up Godby and Bishop Kenny. Region 2, now we're getting in our own backyard again. O'Galley takes out Crystal River, guys, 35-0.
Yeah, O'Galley. EG stood on business with the shutout. This has been a terrific ball club all season. I mean, they got a backyard battle here right here. This is a Brevard County matchup next round versus Titusville, so that's going to be interesting. But I like everything about EG. I like Coach Sands, what he's doing. He's been building this ball club for a few years now. I believe this 2020 class has been starting since they were freshmen. So they took their licks early, took their lumps early, but now it's all paying off for them. So congratulations to those boys.
Baylin, Titusville beats Merritt Island 17-14. It sets up that match with O'Galley this Friday night.
It does. And if you guys remember this game, this was the game that we kind of started doubting O'Galley. They beat them 7-3, and they started going down in our charts, even at being unbeaten. And it was like one of those – we didn't realize Titusville was actually going to be this good. It was early, but when you saw 7-3, you're like, okay, how are they struggling with a team that just lost 55-0 to Cocoa, wasn't even competitive, and then they go and they almost, upset O'Galley. So this could be an interesting matchup. 7-3 was the final score in the regular season. Obviously, O'Galley won. This might be a matchup thing where they figured out O'Galley. I don't know how that was even close, but it's a game's all about matchups. This is going to be a tough one to call. I still think O'Galley does win this football game and advance to the regional final, but this game might be exciting for those people in the West or the East Coast that want to see a good football game in the playoffs, because whoever Coco's got, like we just mentioned, it's going to be a mollywop. So you want to go see some good football, O'Galley and Titusville in a rematch, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that's two great games in Brevard County this weekend. Guys, Bishop Moore takes out Eastside 35-6. They move on this Friday night to play Denellen, who knocked off Mount Dora 28-7. Coach Hutch and the Hurricanes end their season early.
Yep. I'm going to talk about Bishop Moore, though. Bishop Moore, they handled Eastside. I saw Eastside play the previous week versus South Sumter. South Sumter was able to beat them. And I knew that Bishop Moore would win this game pretty easily. I spoke to Coach Hedrick last week, doing my due diligence, letting him know what I saw from that Eastside offense and defense. But once I knew Bishop Moore passing attack is very, very efficient. They have a very good quarterback, obviously going to University of Virginia. So anytime you have that play caller leading you, that always gives you a good shot. So yeah, congrats to Bishop Moore.
Baylin, the Hornets are playing strong. Denellen has got a really good team. Denellen.
I don't know if you gave me this.
Yeah, just talk about it.
But Bishop Moore, there's nothing really to talk here. Bishop Moore is going to win this football game. It's not going to be close. I think the score might be 35-17, 35-21. I still think they roll and full control of this football game.
You're right, AJ. Baylin is rolling out with scores tonight.
He is, bro. He's cocky tonight.
I'm sure our Central Florida teams will love that.
Baylin's rolling out with the scores tonight, Baylin.
Yeah, 35-21 Bishop Moore rolls. Is it Bishop Moore? Is it at
all right,
home?
so listen.
At Denellen. Is it where's it at? Where's it played at?
It's at Bishop Moore.
Oh, even
it is at home.
42.
Yeah, the bold teams are home.
So I got Bishop. I got Bishop Moore too. Who you got? You got EG or Titusville?
I got EG.
I got EG too.
All right. Well, I hope you guys are keeping score at home, because I'm not keeping score. All right, let's move on to Region 3, and this is going to be that West Coast region here. Jefferson beats Husband, moves on. Is going to take on Boca Ciega, who knocked off Chamberlain. Booker out of Sarasota beats Hardy to move on to play Nature Coast, who knocked off Mulberry. And then Region 4, Miami Northwestern. They're in the news today.
Yeah.
What?
They've been in the news today. We don't know if Miami Northwestern, they're under investigation. So
again?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, they're under investigation for illegal players. So we'll wait and see what happens, whether or not they move on. But right now, they're scheduled to play Leli, who knocked off Miami Jackson.
They're the
Key
favorite.
West knocks off Estero, and Somerset Academy.
Northwestern's the favorite.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they're definitely the favorite.
Yeah.
They're definitely the favorite in 3A. I'm sorry? Yeah, Northwestern's the favorite to win the district, to win that class. Somerset Academy loses to Cypress Lake. So Key West, the Conks, are going to host Cypress Lake this Friday night. All right, guys, when we come back, we're going to get through Regions 5, 6, and 7. You're watching the Central Florida High School Scoreboard Show. We'll be back.
Sports Nation. Unleash the champion within.
All right, welcome back to the Central Florida High School Scoreboard Show right here on Varsity Sports Nation. I'm Dan LaForest. That is AJ Brooks and Baylin Trujillo. Guys, let's get right into 4A. St. Augustine takes care of Columbia at a Lake City. And Ed White, talked about them last week. They knock off Pine Forest all the way over in Pensacola. That sets up Ed White at St. Augustine. That's going to be a good matchup this Friday night. Choctawhatchee knocks off Arnold, and Escambia beats Riverside. Escambia will be at Choctaw this Friday night. Region 2, Jones knocks off Lecanto, AJ 42-7.
Yeah, Jones dominated this game. DC had a pretty good game. The running game went well, too. I think Quill had over 100 yards. They were just clicking on all cylinders. It wasn't a contest. Jones versus Zephyr Hills is going to be a tremendous matchup, and I can't wait till Friday. Can't wait.
Baylin?
There we go. Yeah, no. Coach Dawson, Shannon Dawson was at this football game, which is the offensive coordinator at the University of Miami, and he texted me. He's got the right guy. He loved what he saw in Darion, how full control he was of the offense, how easy he made it seem. You know, Larry Miles scored a big touchdown. What? You hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Vernell Brown scored a touchdown. I don't know where I got cut off at. But yeah, Jones is the favorite. I think even in this matchup against Zephyr Hills, which is a very good program, I'm excited to see the matchup between Vernell Brown and Pickett. I think they're going to both play both ways. So when one's on offense, the other's on defense, and vice versa. So you're going to see that all game. So here's the X factor: Larry Miles. Who's going to guard Larry Miles? I mean, you can take away one, but Coach Will is good enough to know I have enough talent around him, Darion, that is to efficiently throw the football. But the run game is being very efficient as well right now. So I think that don't be surprised if Jones really beats Zephyr Hills in the trenches and rushes for almost 200 yards in a big victory on Friday. So I believe Jones will win Friday night. That's my prediction. If I had to pick a score, it'll be 35-21, 35-14.
Yeah, guys, and Zephyr Hills knocks off Rockledge 35-15. That sets up this Jones Zephyr Hills matchup this Friday night. Both of you guys say you're going to be at that game. I agree. I think this is the best Jones offense that we've seen in a number of years because of the fact they have all three facets of the game, right? At least on the offense, right? Quarterback, receivers, running game. Everything's been clicking. Defense is playing extremely well. But you can't take one thing away from that offense or it'll kill you.
Yep, I got Jones winning as well. Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's move on. Vanguard. We talked about this game last week, and you guys called it, man. Vanguard took care of Leesburg 35-10, AJ.
Yeah, they always say it's hard to beat a team twice. It's always hard to beat a good team twice. Leesburg had a good season, but Vanguard is kind of the big brother in that area. So we'll see what Vanguard does next week. I like Lake Wales to beat Vanguard. I think Lake Wales is a tremendous team. So yeah, but congrats to Vanguard winning last week. But this week, I think they got their hands full.
Baylin Lake Wales takes care of New Smyrna Beach, and that sets up Lake Wales and Vanguard this Friday night.
Yeah, Bryce, the quarterback at Lake Wales, I believe, threw 5 touchdowns in this 52-19 mollywop. That score looks a lot familiar, though. Lake Wales, they know what this team is capable of, that they're playing Friday night. Last year, that was the team that ended their season. Lake Wales having a great year and got completely slapped around by Vanguard. I believe they gave almost 50 points in that matchup in that big loss. But I do see Lake Wales seeking some revenge. Vanguard lost a lot of key talent, especially their quarterback, Gaskins, who's now at the University of South Florida. Go Bulls. So I do believe Lake Wales does win this football game in a good fashion, maybe like 21-14. But I do like Lake Wales to come out victorious here. So that will set up a rematch for the region final, Jones versus Lake Wales Part 2.
Wow, that'll be interesting if that's exactly what we see. All right, let's move right into Region 3, guys. Port Charlotte knocks out South Fort Myers, moves on, and they will play Jesuit, who beats Clearwater. Naples beats River Ridge, and St. Pete beats Dunbar. So Naples and St. Pete will play Friday night. Moving on to Region 4, American Heritage knocks off Jensen Beach. American Heritage is that number 1 seed. And Dillard beats John Carroll, which looking at Dillard at American Heritage Friday night. Miami Norland, again, strong team, beats Hialeah. They move on, and they will play Archbishop MacArthur, who knocks off Plantation. Let's get right into 5A. Niceville beats Middleburg, the number 1 seed. Ponte Vedra beats Beachside. That sets up Ponte Vedra at Niceville this Friday night. Tallahassee Lincoln knocks off the Bucks out of Mainland, guys, 21-0, AJ.
Yeah, Lincoln is the top dog in Tallahassee. But Mainland went on a 5-game winning streak at the end of the season. But in reality, I don't think the questions were ever answered at the quarterback position. And I think that the run game was pretty solid all year. Edward Williams, I believe that's his name, young man, was terrific. Mr. Schaefer on the defensive end was good at linebacker. They made plays, but they didn't have a DeMarcus Cressy this year, so that hurt them. So yeah.
Yeah, and Baylin, you have to give a lot of credit to Coach Bell and that coaching staff to turn that around. 0-5, win the last 5, and make the playoffs.
Yeah, no doubt. I was just looking at Mainland's schedule, the last 5 games that they won. There was one team over 500 in that, and they were 5-5. So there wasn't like they went on a 5-game win streak, but it really wasn't impressive. DeLand, Seabreeze, right? Like, they were winning those type of games. Now, here's my question for AJ, and he better answer this honestly. Would you have picked Mainland to beat Lincoln if we were doing predictions last week?
Hell no. Oh, excuse my language. I know this is a kid show, but no, I wouldn't have picked Lincoln. Lincoln, the top dog. I just told you that.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. So, yeah, I didn't think Mainland had a chance, but great season to them. The fact that they got to 500 was great after starting off 0-5. But I do believe AJ was right on his assessment that they never figured out the quarterback position. That's a big, massive question mark for Mainland. That's the reason why they won the state title last year, was because of their quarterback last year. So that's going to be a question mark they're going to have to figure out in the spring, or they're going to lose a lot of those kids to surrounding area schools. So Mainland's got to figure some things out. I do believe they have a quarterback on their roster that can get the job done in Walker. But we'll see how it all plays out in the spring. But Lincoln is the real deal, and I do believe that they're going to beat Fleming Island in the second round.
Yeah, so Lincoln moves on to play Fleming Island this Friday night. Going into Region 2, Lakeland beats Spoto. We kind of expected that to happen, but Tampa Gaither knocks off Springstead. That sets up Gaither at Lakeland this Friday night. And how about – I didn't get the score in here. Edgewater beats East Bay.
Yeah, Edgewater won 35-7, if I'm not mistaken. My boy Cardi Emanuel at the quarterback position had 160 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Tyson Carter at the wide receiver position, he had 2 of those 4 touchdowns receiving. So Edgewater, they plugging away 35-7, good defensive game as well, only giving up 1 touchdown. But yeah, the matchup this week versus Tampa Bay Tech is going to be crazy.
Yeah, this would be the game I would be at if I was in town. There is no question about it. Coach Jason Roberts is bringing over the Titans. This is a big game. This is a really big game. Edgewater hosting Tampa Bay Tech.
Yeah, this is, in my opinion, the best region of football when you look from a tradition standpoint, a winning standpoint. You got Lakeland, Gaither, Edgewater, Tampa Bay Tech. These are all teams that could potentially win a state championship, whoever gets out of this region. I do believe Edgewater, with the addition of Carter Emanuel, completely takes that football team to another level. I've talked to Coach Duke several times. He has given praise to Carter, basically fitting his system perfectly. I couldn't agree anymore. I'm so happy Carter is playing under Coach Duke. I'm glad that Coach Duke is leading these boys. I honestly think Edgewater, we didn't go, I don't think AJ made his prediction, but they're going to beat Tampa Bay Tech in a big fashion here. I think they dominate in the trenches. I think they show their physicality, and I think they stop the passing game of Tampa Bay. And, I mean, that running back is legit. But I think Edgewater right now is playing angry. I believe they're trying to make a statement every single week. And I know that Coach Duke is tasting, a lot of that they got early on in the season. He's just salivating for it just to show everybody we are still that top dog. So I love Edgewater, everything about it. I'm a believer, and I believe they beat Tampa Bay Tech on Friday. But I do agree, Dan, if it wasn't Jones, Zephyr Hills, I would be at this game too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a big one.
My prediction, I'm gonna go with Edgewater as well, but they must stop Wilson and Lundy. They got to stop those two receivers, boy, because if they don't, it can get ugly real fast. But I'm rolling with the Eagles.
Yeah, they've got to have a pass rush. There's no doubt about it. They've got to get to that quarterback. All right, Region 3, Manatee takes out Pinellas Park. They're going to play Immokalee, who takes out Cape Coral. Fort Myers takes out Charlotte. They move on to play Riverdale, who beat North Fort Myers. Region 4, Atlantic out of Delray Beach. They win as the number 1 seed to play Miramar. They're hosting Miramar this Friday night. St. Thomas Aquinas moves on beating North Miami to play Blanche Eli, who knocked off Coconut Creek. So moving into 6A, Nice moves on as the number 1 seed, and Oakleaf knocks off Mandarin, guys. Oakleaf travels to Nice this Friday night.
Yeah, Oakleaf. Let's
Buchholz.
Yeah, well, let's
go ahead. Talk about that.
Quick shout out to Oakleaf. I believe that is where my boy Jack McKissick. I don't know if you guys remember Jack McKissick, played quarterback at TFA. He betted on himself and transferred up to Jacksonville. He's been
TFA,
living in
that's where he was.
In an apartment with his mom, and they come home every weekend. They made it work for him, and he beat Mandarin. Kid's having a phenomenal year. Now he gets to play Nice, a former Orlando native, former Orlando coach and coach drafts. Some people have Nice as number 1 overall team in the entire state of Florida, which blows my mind. But this is just awesome. Oakleaf beating Mandarin. I didn't see that happening. I would have never predicted. I don't care if Jamel Jones is playing or not. They're just loaded, and Oakleaf beat them. So Jack McKissick and company, congratulations to you, my boy. But you got a big one on Friday night against Nice.
Yeah, Orlando Evans, their season ends this week. They lose to Buchholz 42-21, AJ.
Yeah, man, it just Evans just never got going. It was 21-0 before they looked up. They had some blunder in the special teams era gave up a touchdown, accounted for a touchdown. But DJ Hicks, Buchholz wide receiver, 4 catches, 152 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also got tackled once at the 1. So he pretty much single-handedly just gave Evans fits all night. So Coach Odom and his staff, they had a terrific season, but they just couldn't overcome those mistakes that they made early in the game.
No doubt about it, Baylin. Coach Odom did a wonderful job with the Trojans this year.
Yeah, I'm a big Evans fan. I don't think like I told you guys last week, I don't think any of us 3 were rooting ever against Evans in this playoff run. I thought they had a cool storyline. I just love what they're doing there. AJ is more involved in that program than most of us. He's gotten to see really firsthand what Odom is doing with the program and changing the culture of it, especially with the yoga stuff and just doing things as a team bonding, which is going to bring that team and program closer together, especially in that community. And nobody wants to see Evans become back. Nobody. I'm telling you they don't, because all of the talent will stay at Evans and they will become a powerhouse. So I think that maybe not a lot of people are rooting for Evans because of that, but I know I am as a fan, especially playing at Oak Ridge and that rivalry. I just love what Coach Odom is doing there, and I think that this is just the beginning of something special there. As long as he's there and continues to build that culture, you're going to see some exciting stuff with Evans High School. So great job to them. That score has nothing to do with how we feel about their season, and I look forward to seeing them next year.
Yeah, I tell you what. Now Buchholz goes on to play their host Pace, and Pace outlasted Oviedo 49-21. AJ.
Yeah, Oviedo had a terrific season. They beat Evans for the district championship. But Oviedo, Pace was just too much for Oviedo. Too many athletes on the field. Pace won that ball game convincingly. So we'll see what happens with Buchholz and Pace. That should be a terrific ball game. We picking that one too? If we did, I'm gonna pick Buchholz.
Oh, we can because I'm
There
picking
you go.
pace.
Okay, so perfect. That'll work.
Yeah, I'm picking pace in that football
All
game.
right, Baylin. Baylin, you got to give a lot of credit to Coach Odie Arano and the Lions staff. They lost a lot of senior talent last year, and what a wonderful job they did this year with a great record and making the playoffs. But the Lions go home.
Their season's done. That's all I got to say. Good year though. District champs. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. 6A Region 2, Armwood takes out. The Bulldogs are done for the season. They lose to Armwood.
Dan, you cut out just like Melbourne cut out any more remaining schedule on their football schedules this year. So, yeah, they're done. Great job.
All right. Melbourne loses to Armwood 49-0. They move on to host Plant, who knocks off Bartow. Kissimmee Osceola, guys, they routed Viera 58-14, AJ.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna route Durant, Plant City as well. Osceola is rolling. They might. What are they on? Like a 6, 7, 8 game win streak. The last loss was to Jones, right?
Yep, September 18th. They haven't lost since.
And we was at that game, and they
had that game won, and then they blew it.
We call a spade a spade. They outplayed Jones that game, even though they lost.
They kick a field goal, they win the game. That was the worst clock management I've ever seen in any football game in the history of football.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about
the ball on the 5 yard line on 4th down.
We're not going to talk about that part. But Osceola, they are rolling. I think they're going to continue to roll. And I'm just looking at this matchup next week, Osceola Armwood. That's all I really could think about. But right now, Osceola is rolling, man. Woo. Shout out to Elijah Jenkins.
I agree, guys.
He had a great game. He had a receiving touchdown. They also moved him into the wing because, he's a receiver, but he's such a great athlete that they're using him in the run game. So that benefited. So, yeah, shout out to Flash.
Yeah, also shout out to South Lake, Coach Lord getting the Lake County Coach of the Year, but they lose to Durant 35-17. Durant at Osceola this Friday night. Let's move on to Region 3, guys. West Boca Raton takes out Steinbrenner, and they will play Mitchell, who beat Parrish. Palmetto loses to Largo. A 7 seed knocks off a 2. Largo moves on to take on Wiregrass Ranch, who beat Royal Palm Beach. 6A Region 4, Miami Southridge moves on, knocking off South Broward. Monarch beats Homestead. Monarch at Southridge this Friday night. And then Piper beats Doral Academy to move on. They'll play West Broward, who knocked off Flanagan. Heading on to 7A, guys. Lake Mary takes care of the land, 49-14. Baylin, you talked about this at the beginning of the show.
Yes, sir. Lake Mary dominated. They did whatever they wanted to. It's actually I have a lot of respect for Coach Darlington and his son. They called me the next day, actually was like, no joke, guys. Coach Darlington, the man, the legend, called me and was like, Baylin, that kid right there is the best quarterback I've ever seen on a football field. He literally said it himself. He's like, I don't know how this even came to be, how Lake Mary got blessed to have Noah Grubbs, but that kid right there is the best quarterback. He said he could do nothing. He said, matter of fact, I love Noah more now because I got to see my son run scout team and I got to see him play football again live because Zach Darlington ran the scout team the entire week to give them a real look to prepare for Noah, and nothing they did really mattered here. Noah the first drive was touchdown. They had 6 consecutive drives on touchdowns, and 5 of them were touchdown passes from Noah Grubbs, all within like the first half. So, there was really nothing DeLand could do. They just got shut down. They were outmatched, out-physicaled, I wouldn't say out-coached, but there's some great coaching at Lake Mary. So, man, I'm telling you, Noah Grubbs, he gives Lake Mary a shot to really do anything in this bracket. I'm excited about this weekend, this Friday specifically, because this is going to be a tough test. Spruce Creek is no joke here. They have talent as well.
We'll get into that. Get into that.
All right. Well, are we doing predictions? Because
yeah,
I guess.
We'll get into that.
We'll stay there.
We will here in a second. So Lake Mary now will host Spruce Creek Friday night Spruce Creek knocks off Palm Coast 36-35. It was a close game, AJ.
Yeah, Spruce Creek. I mean, I've been high on Spruce Creek all year, if I be honest with you. Preseason Elite 100, we had them ranked in our top 10. They lost early to University, Orange City, excuse me. So it looked bad, but OC's a good team. So they went on the road. They took another loss. But Spruce Creek, that's a real good ball club. So I'm not surprised by this victory. I know that Flagler Palm Coast was winning big early, but Spruce Creek is a terrific team. But if we go ahead and do we talk about the pick now, Lake Mary versus Spruce Creek, I think that I just think that Lake Mary they just like I don't even know how to say this. Like Noah, he's like a cheat code. He had 11 completions and 5 touchdowns. He was 11 for 14 with 5 touchdowns. Like I just don't think Spruce Creek, like you don't have an answer for that kind of stuff. So I got Lake Mary.
Baylin?
Yeah, I think AJ said it right. I mean, when you have coaches that consistently see this kid play on Friday nights and literally call me and say this kid is the best quarterback they've ever seen step on a football field, that includes Dr. Phillips, even when they beat him. Also, obviously DeLand. Lake Mary gives everybody a shot with Noah Grubbs there. I don't think they're ever not going to be favored in any game the rest of the way until maybe the state championship if they make it that far. I mean, even Seminole might be interesting, but Noah Grubbs just gives Lake Mary that much more. It's just hard to stop a quarterback. We all talk about it. The way you win. Obviously, you have to have a great defense, but you have to have a trigger man. You're not winning a state championship without a trigger man because you have to have an answer for a good defense. And Noah Grubbs is that answer. So I think if we had to do a score here, which we're not doing scores, if we had to do a score, I think Lake Mary wins 42-14.
Damn, I thought you said it was going to be a close game.
Not me. No, I said it could be a close game, but it ain't going to be. It's going to be a blowout.
I got Lake Mary too.
He's hedging his bets, AJ. He's just hedging. All right, guys, that sets up another great bracket here. Seminole, number 2 seed, had to go on the road, but it didn't matter. They took care of business over Creekside, 38-28. AJ.
Yeah, you talk about rolling. Hold on, I gotta go to this text message. We got Michael Clayton. Michael Clayton threw for over 300 yards. Defensively, Javon Peters had 13 tackles, 7 solos, 1 forced fumble. Marshawn Taylor had 11 tackles, 2 forced fumbles. It sounded like they just heated up the quarterback all day. Juan Burchell, he was named the Defensive Player of the Year for the district. He had 8 tackles, 2 PBUs. And then their quarterback returned. And then their quarterback returned, Michael Clayton, and threw for over 300 yards with Devin Voltaire having 12 catches for 240. And Seminole's rolling right now. They're finally getting healthy.
Ungodly.
So, yeah, this is going to be a good matchup. Seminole versus OC. Ooh, this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, you want to give it to me?
Nah, just pause, bro. Just take it. Pause.
Heck no. Pause.
Jeez.
I think Seminole had to come back in this football game early. They were down 14-10, I believe. Right, I think at halftime was 14-10 or something like that, and they took the lead 17-14 late in the third. Michael Clayton was definitely the difference in this football game. Michael Clayton does not play this game. I think that Seminole season was over. He played fantastic. He threw almost 400 yards, 2 touchdowns, looked very comfortable from the stuff that I watched. And he just let the playmakers make plays. I think it wasn't very complicated. He was just doing his assignments, making the right reads, giving the ball into the playmakers' hands, and they were just doing what they do. And, Creekside, it's a good football team, but it's not on the level of Seminole. So this does shape up an interesting matchup with OC University. They better come up with some answers for Malachi Walters, because if he starts getting hot, this could be a dangerous trap game for Seminole. I think we all want to see, honestly, Lake Mary versus Seminole in the regional final. I mean,
let's get into that game first here, Baylin.
Huh?
This ain't no trap game. Seminole know how good OC
Baylin,
is.
you're jumping ahead a lot. Let's get right into that. University knocks off Winter Park 31-23, guys. AJ, talk about that.
I mean, if we talk about it like 8-point victory, I mean, it's the playoffs. A victory is a victory, but I mean, I would have thought that OC would have beaten Winter Park by at least 2 scores. So shout out to Winter Park for keeping it close, but that doesn't give me confidence going into this matchup with Seminole. But OC, they found a way to win. They won the ball game. It's tough to win in the playoffs, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do this week.
All right, Baylin. So we got OC University going to Bokeh to play the Noles.
Yeah, this game's going to be ugly. It's going to be all Bokeh. It's going to be Seminole. It's at Seminole. You're not beating Seminole in the playoffs. I mean, that's the last person to do that was Lake Mary when Noah was a freshman. So let's just get that out there. But yeah, I just think Seminole is going to beat OC University. And if I had to put a score on it, I believe it'll be 35-17 or 35-20. I think Seminole, they're that good with Michael Clayton back. David Parks does hurt them. I think
All
that.
right.
We're not
and
really
also,
talking about that.
Hey, what's going on tonight?
Dan, you're killing me today, man. You're cutting me off. You're lagging. I don't know what's going on, man. But yeah, Seminole's definitely winning this football game, and we're going to get the rematch the whole city wants. Lake Mary versus Seminole Black Friday.
Take it up with Bright House.
Bright House killing you. They need to refund you some money this month, bro.
I think that's what everybody wants to see. Everybody's been anticipating that rematch.
What?
Hey, let's just.
So yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be an interesting game. Let's just keep rolling, baby.
Yeah, it's
Bright
all
House,
good, bro.
Spectrum, whatever. It's killing us tonight. It is what it is. Let's get right into Region 2. Venice takes out Haines City. I don't think anybody had any questions about that. We will host West Orange. West Orange knocks off Apopka 20-19. I got the scores reversed there.
Yeah, West Orange was up big. They was
West Orange.
West Orange was up early. They were up big, and Apopka they rallied. Tyson Davidson had a terrific game. I forget his stat line, but I believe he threw for over 200 and ran for over 100. I mean, he did have had an injury to his knee early in the first quarter, but he's a tough kid. He gutted it out, and I mean, they were a point away, so it doesn't surprise me. But West Orange found
they actually missed, I believe, 2 extra points. They missed 2 extra points during the game.
That's how they
missed
19,
2 extra points during the game. So yeah,
So they should have and could have won.
Hey, I'm gonna cut him off like West Orange cut off the
West
kicker
Orange
when they
at
hit
Plant
the game
City
winner.
this Friday night.
All right,
Guys.
Apopka missed a game-winning 45-yard field goal, had no chance of making it. Apopka almost came back to seal the deal. Tyson Davidson is the only reason why Apopka even had a chance in this football game. So yeah, West Orange moves on to the next round. It was a great matchup, another really good game to be at. But I believe West Orange season ends Friday night.
Yeah, for real. Oh, we picked this one? Yeah, I got Plant City too.
Yeah.
All right, so there's your prediction. Yeah. All right, Plant City for both of you guys. All right, Region 3, Palm Beach, Wellington moves on. They beat Four Peaks Central. They will play Vero Beach. They've got Vero Beach at home, who beat Lake Nona 21-7, AJ.
Yeah, man, I want to give a shout out to Coach Aubrey and his coaching staff and his boys. He had a terrific season. He did well. They made the playoffs. They won ball games. And I think this is a stepping stone for him and the community. So shout out to Lake Nona. Best of luck to them in the future, upcoming seasons. But they played a tough team in Vero Beach, and they played them tough, losing by 14. That's nothing to hold their head down about. I think they'll grow from this defeat, and they'll come back a better program next year.
Baylin?
Yeah, this game got interesting at the end. I don't know if you guys heard much about it, but it was 21-7. Vero got stopped on the 1 yard line with like a little over 2 minutes left, and Lake Nona marched all the way down to, I believe, inside the 10. They went for it on 4th down, and they did like an inside zone on like 4th and 4, which I've never heard of before. And with the game on the line, and they didn't get it. So they could have made it 21-14 onside kick. You never know what can happen in that type of environment. But to AJ's point, hold on a second.
You got to guess, bro.
Yeah, my son, I think he's trying to go to bed. But no, so I'm saying, so Lake Nona, I mean, that's my wife's alma mater, by the way. Yeah, so I think that we don't forget that they won the district championship. So, I mean, that's a great season for what they had, to be honest with you, with all that talent that left to go to Edgewater. I mean, we're talking starters, big-time starters. That was
Can you imagine if it was there back at Lake Nona?
Oh man, imagine that. Yeah, no, they would have beaten Vero Beach if they had their studs. Oh my gosh.
For real.
Yeah, they could actually compete in this region. I would see them and Dr. Phillips probably for the region championship, to be honest with you, if they had their studs. But yeah, so great job, great season for Lake Nona. Dan.
All right, speaking of which, Dr. Phillips knocks off Toho 49-21, guys. That sets up a meeting with Jupiter, who knocked off Treasure Coast.
Yeah, DP played a terrific game, beating Toho. I want to give a shout out to 2 people, I guess. You give a shout out, one to Sabby. He just threw for his 100th pass. And then another shout out to Coach Paradiso, because he's coached Sabby, who's thrown for his 100 pass, but he's also coached Kyle Israel, who threw for 162 touchdown passes. With that being Kyle Israel, yeah. So with that being said, I believe only 11 quarterbacks have thrown for over 100 touchdowns in the state of Florida. So shout out to those boys. Congrats to Coach Paradiso.
And Sabby's got another year.
And he's got another year. So I think Sabby would probably end up closer to 140.
That's a good point, Baylin. Sabby's got another year.
Guys, I don't even want to talk about that because there's another quarterback that's 4 touchdowns away from his 100th touchdown, and that's Noah Grubbs. And if he throws 4 touchdowns Friday night, he will also hit the 100 career passing touchdowns in 3 years. So 2.5 actually. Where Sabby's had 3 total years. You know, obviously Noah got in the 6th game or 5th game of his freshman year. So yeah, the things that they're doing now in the pass game in this area is unreal. I believe Brady Hart's close to that mark too as well. So we're going to see some 100-yard passing touchdown, record-setting quarterbacks in the next, year or so when they're seniors. So it's exciting stuff. But yeah, great job, Sabby Misik, for what you've done, leading the state every year. And then Dr. Phillips, let's go back to the point. Dr. Phillips, great win, massive statement win. I don't think Toho had any chance in this football game. I was even surprised they scored 21 points, to be honest with you, but. Diso throws it enough you're going to eventually score a couple times. But Dr. Phillips is going to be the favorite, I believe, until they get to their Final Four matchup.
All right, guys.
Man, this guy's just. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, let's get to it. Jupiter at Dr. Phillips Friday night. What's the prediction?
That man is lagging.
I got Jupiter. Oh, I got Dr. Phillips. My bad, Dr. Phillips. Yeah, I got DP.
Did I just hear you go against DP?
No. I was reading the teams. Yeah. That's why I said my bad. I got DP.
No.
Easy win for DP. That's what I got.
Yeah, I got Dr. Phillips in this matchup too. Go ahead, Dan.
All right, good. Region 4, last one. Columbus out of Miami moves on, beats Spanish River. They will play South Dade, who knocked off St. Calise. How about Western knocking off Palmetto, the number 2 seed? They're going to go to Boca after they beat Goldman. So that is it. And also, congratulations, Baylin Trujillo. What a great segment on Spectrum 13 about the work that you're doing with off-season training and mentoring and everything that you've done. That was a wonderful story.
No, I appreciate that. So, hey, I'm nothing without the kids. So I don't even want credit. It's about them. So they make me look good because they're performing. So it's a blessing for sure. Thank you. I appreciate that. Just doing God's work. That's it.
I'll tell you what, AJ, how's Elite 100 going?
It's going good. We got our All-Star game. It will be
AJ, how's Elite 100 going?
It's going good. We got our All-Star game January 5th at Bishop Moore High School. We sent out all the invites. We got it. We out of here this week, Dan. This Spectrum make you look.
Yeah, let's just kill it. We'll reset, man. We got a lot of great games Friday night.
Shout out to Jack Riley for earning an invite to the game. Quarterback at Windermere. He deserves to be in that game, and I'm glad AJ and AG made that decision to invite him. He deserves it, and that kid is special, and I can't wait to see him play and strap it up again.
A lot of great talent out there. All right, guys, let's end this thing. For Baylin Trujillo and AJ Brooks, I'm Dan LaForest. You're watching the Central Florida High School Scoreboard Show. We will see you next Wednesday.
Sports Nation. Unleash the champion within.